was falling all around me. She was there here, having fun. It's the season of understanding. Even plus was everyone. Having a party, celebrations. All the
Now time for some interactive fun.
Well, hello there. It's still that season. The world hasn't ended yet. Krampus hasn't come and steal all our joy yet. Well, maybe most of us. We're still in that holiday season. We're still in that Christmas creep. That means I'm still Kirk, and this is still Dumb Test Late, the podcast where I try to come up with a random TV, movie, show, sometimes comic book ideas with the help of AI. Sometimes. But since, like I said a few seconds ago, we're still in the holiday season. So last episode and this episode, I'm going to continue the tradition of trying to come up with a seasonal episode. It is 2024. Like I said, the world hasn't ended yet, whatever it's called. But we're still going. We're still kicking. And I'm still coming up with random ideas. I'm full on into the holiday season. I'm to that point of holiday music where Spotify is just playing holiday songs that I've never heard of before, just for the most random one-hit wonder artists. Like they churned out a Christmas album. Let's play that for you because you listen to the hits way too much. But yeah, but I still love it. I haven't eaten any Christmas cookies. I've been good. I had a ginger snap, but that doesn't count. That's a year-round sweet treat for you. I'm holding it all in for Christmas. Have that big Christmas dinner with family. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're not driving yourself crazy. I'm trying to keep my spirits up in the holiday season. I'm buying Christmas gifts late as usual. I got to buy some toys, the old toys for tots. Got to dump them in the box and hopefully some tots get some toys. That'll be my next thing to keep me spirited and Christmas mood. But like I said, it's the holiday season. I have another idea. The last episode I did was 2 weeks ago. I mean, it could be a million years ago I don't know if the podcast apps put out my podcast episodes in a series or they just come out random to you. If they are, I'm sorry. This doesn't make any sense to you. But like I said, if you are listening in the series, the last episode I did was a Hallmark-esque Christmas movie idea where it was either a toss-up between not the main character, the kind of the holiday magic character is going to be like the small town guy, but he's actually in the sense of Milli Vanilli, he was the actual singer for this either boy band group or this really hot teen star back in the day, and he's like living in this quiet town, and it was found out that the person he was actually singing for was a fraud, and the public found out, and the person who's the character in the story went into hiding because he didn't want that fame. He was scared of fame and he kind of shied away from it. So he lives the small town life. That's the small town Hallmark character. The big office boss type character that comes to town I was thinking it was going to be a character who loved the actual teen heartthrob. Growing up, she loved him. And this is that thing I'll add. I don't think I mentioned this in the last one. I'll add it to this. So she's the big city person that comes to the small town and falls in love with the small town character. I wanted to add this, that she really, really hated that teen heartthrob after found out that it was, she loved their voice and the music, not realizing that it was a person they were lip syncing. So the voice she was hearing wasn't this person she had all these, teen feelings for. And their biggest hit was this crazy big Christmas hit. And so in the teen heartthrob back in the day had this Christmas concert. And that's when the accident happened, when the tape stopped or something like that, or it would be, Christmas Magic, where the person who was actually singing my small town character would be backstage singing, and something happens at this Christmas concert with a teen heartthrob messes up, and it's revealed that he's actually lip syncing, and he betrays all of his fans. And my character, my big city come to the small town character, she ends up hating Christmas, hating everything about Christmas, the music and everything because of this, because she loved this teen heartthrob so much. But then when she found out he was a phony, he was lip syncing, he was horrible, it kind of ruined Christmas for her. So she's always been down on Christmas. She's, you know, the big city business person. She doesn't care about holidays. She just cares about margins and, you know, return on investment to shareholders and all that stuff. But she has to come to the small town to visit an older relative at a retirement home or something like that. And they have this Christmas pageant that, you know, people who work at this home do for the people there. And she finds out that the actual singer is a person that works there. And at first all these old feelings come back up about Christmas, which she hates because of this teen heartthrob thing that went wrong when she was growing up. But then she realizes the person that's the actual voice of this person she loved back in the day, the idol of this person is this actually really sweet small town guy who has a great voice, is a great singer, is just a quiet guy who loves to sing and take care of the people in this retirement home. That was the Christmas story. That's the part I wanted to add to it, that she ended up hating Christmas, but then she falls in love with Christmas and this guy in this small town. Because, you know, the big city person comes to small town. That was the story. That's what I wanted to add to the story. If you missed that one, go back and listen to it and add that part I just rambled through in the beginning. But this is another episode. I wanted to do another, I don't know if it would be Hallmark-esque, but I guess this whole season, like, they all blend together. The Netflix ones, the Hallmark ones, the Lifetime ones, everything like blends together with these like romantic Christmas-esque movies. But I'm going to set it kind of differently because I'll say this first. This is going to set the scene. Okay. This is not a love story. The couple in this story, this is probably going to be in the movie at some point. Okay. If there's a narrator in the movie, let's say there's a narrator. It'll start like this. This is not a love story. This is a movie about a couple that's set during Christmas. Yes, it's a Christmas movie. It's a road trip movie, but it is not a love story. They don't get together and sorry to spoil it for you, but they don't. So, setting that stage, this is the idea I have for this movie. For this Hallmark Lifetime Netflix special movie made for back in the day, used to be made for TV. Christmas road trip is going to be a road trip movie. So my main character is going to be a male character, kind of a quiet, reserved guy who always he's from the outside looking in. People will think or label him as a forever bachelor or something. Somebody who just never can get relationships right and usually single and all that stuff. So he's low on Christmas because everything about Christmas is, you know, being romantic and buying all the commercials, buying fragrance or jewelry for the one you love, and on Lexus SUVs. All of a sudden, like, there's people just buy each other. Okay, they're low on that because they're kind of low on love during holidays, especially, you know. You have to deal with, you know, seasonal depression and all that stuff. And they're just quiet. They don't hate Christmas. They like Christmas and being around family. But since they're always never in a relationship, or they don't feel like they're good in a relationship, they've gotten older and they've kind of gotten reserved to the point where there's no expectations, but they're not looking for a relationship. They're just quiet because when you look inside of the character and look at their past, they've had bad relationships growing up. That's their backstory. So, their parents retire and move away. They move down to Florida or something like that. Let's say a tropical place. And their parents are going to, you know, invite them to Christmas. So they don't like flying and all that stuff. So they're like, I'm going to do a road trip. So when they're getting ready for the road trip, something happens where they run into an ex from a long time ago from what they realized was a very toxic relationship from a very toxic person. But it was from a long time ago, and they felt like they've healed and kind of grown from that. But as soon as they see that person, all those wounds like reopen. When you think you've healed from wounds, you know, old emotional wounds and all that stuff from older relationships that kind of ruined your relationships, it opens back up when you see that person, and they're like, why is this person meeting me? And then they run into them, and it's kind of like negative energy because they really don't want to see that person, because it's like you're safe away from that. If you don't cross that person, you know, kind of get on with your life. But as soon as they come back into your life, things mess up. And then something happens. There's always like a weird set of events where this person who's their ex, so she's kind of having the opposite. She's kind of having a messy life. Let's just say that. She's like, okay, the male character who's quiet and reserved, he's the introvert. He's quiet. He's leading this quiet life. The ex, she's the quintessential extrovert. She's loud. She's wild. She has a lot going on. She's toxic. She's a mess. She's grown up in a different way from their past relationship that, already that probably should have happened. They were opposites. They attracted, but it didn't work out. And he never fully recovered from that. But he tries to, get by staying away from that person. They stay away from relationships. But then they meet again much, much later on. In some, crazy set of events, she needs to go down to like close to where he's going to. Like on the way, like say he's going all the way to Florida. Like I said, his parents retired. They moved down to Florida. And she's like, where she needs to go is on the way to meet her family. But he's like, I don't want to go down that literal road again with her and the emotional road and all that stuff and open up scars. But she's kind of like on her last hope. She's short on money. She like I said, she's that toxic person that really, you get to a point where you push everyone away in your life, and she's kind of short on friends and favors and all that stuff. And it's been a really tough year. But then he breaks down and says, all right, you can ride with me, but there's no singing on the way. And I'm not, he's like, I'm barely going to talk because he wants you to be quiet and get this over with. He doesn't want to reconnect with her. He doesn't want to open up old things. That whole Christmas magic thing of reconnecting with someone, he doesn't want that to happen because he knows how bad the relationship ended and how long it took for him to heal from it. But, Christmas magic set of events happen. But remember what I said in the beginning. This is not a love story. They do not reconnect. And he wants that. You don't really know what her motives are. Maybe she's just using him for a ride to where she ever. But the road trip happens. But this is the theme of the road trip. He does loosen up and open up a little. But what happens is they don't fall in love. Like I said, this is not a love story. She explains more of her past because where she's going home, like where she grew up, you realize throughout the road trip, she kind of opens up and talks to him about her past. And you find out that her past was really traumatic. She's been through a lot. She had a really rough upbringing. She had a broken home and all that stuff. She had a lot of things to deal with, and she's in a rough place. And the only place she can go now is to home, where she really doesn't want to go. It's that thing where you have too much pride, but you're on your last hope and you need to go home for help. And she's just dreading that. And then what happens is through this road trip, when they start to open up each other and talk, he sees her side. He sees and he starts to figure out this is why the way she is. It's not that she's just a horrible, toxic person that burned him in the past and was horrible to him and kind of ruined him for relationships. She has her reasons. She has trauma that she didn't figure out how to get through yet when she met him. He was just kind of in the way. And he, his heart, instead of him being, the Scrooge, I literally just had to pause and take a minute. I was on a roll, but I couldn't remember the name of the Grinch. I was trying to say, like the Grinch, the story in the Grinch, his heart grew bigger. His cold heart, he's had this cold heart since this relationship ended. But it starts to grow bigger because he sees her point of view. That's what this story is about. Like I said, it's not a love story. It's a story where someone sees someone. That saying, you see beyond the toxicity, you see beyond what happened, you see beyond events that she may not have been in control of, and you see a person for who they are. You see their past and what it made them, and you soften on them and you understand them. This road trip becomes a walk in their shoes, and you see her fear as the closer they get toward her home. Like he has to drop her first before he gets to his parents. He sees that, this isn't a place she wants to be. It's a place she has to be because there's nowhere else to go. It's not a love story. They don't kiss or fall in love. They get to her place. And this is where like I reference other movies. It's going to be like SE in Love Actually, not the crazy ones. It's the one where I forgot his name, but the character, he has to go to, I think, Morocco to find the woman who was working for him. But he gets to his family's Christmas party. I think it was Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. And he walks in the door and he like puts everything down. He was like, "Hello, everyone, but I have to go." And everyone's mad at him. And the little girl was like, "Hi, Uncle Jaime." It's like that. Like he does the gentlemanly thing and walks her to the door when they get to her family. And as soon as they open the door, it's a mess. And her family, like as soon as they see her, they're complaining about her and saying, "Who's this?" And she's about to break down. And he literally just takes her hand and they leave. Not to fall in love, not to live happily ever after, but he realizes the best thing he can do for someone is just not be negative or just be the opposite of what they're going through. Be an ear to listen. Like the whole time he's basically just listened to her. He didn't judge her. He didn't tell her what to do or tell her she should get over it. He just listened and he understood her. And he's not, mad. He doesn't bring more drama. He doesn't fight with her family or say it. He literally just is a boundary for her. And that's the Christmas gift he can give her. Even though he knows he may never get that in return. He may never get that favor in return. He's just that separation. And he goes, "You know what? Forget this." And they just leave and they drive to this lake that they used to go to all the time to hang out and listen to CDs in the past. Because like I said, this was a relationship from the very past. And they just listened to like this random Christmas song that they used to love growing up. This real obscure song. And they don't talk to each other. They just sit in the car and just listen to it. And it's just silent. It's a silent night. But then he takes her to his parents' Christmas their house in their Christmas party. And he goes around and tells everyone, "We're not back together. It's just Christmas." And they have a good Christmas. And that's the story. Like I said, it's not a love story. It's just a story where someone's biggest gift to someone else is just to be there. And that's sometimes, I guess that's what you have to do. You have to swallow pride and you have to swallow your own negativities and your own problems, and just sometimes the smallest things for someone can be the biggest gift for someone else, because you never know. Sometimes just listening to someone, sometimes just talking to someone, sometimes just asking someone questions could be the biggest gift or the biggest thing they're looking for. Because we do hold on to a lot of trauma and negative energy and old wounds during this time. There's a lot of emotion. It's an emotional time. But that's my story. And like I said in the beginning, that's my story. I think because there's, a couple road trip Christmas movies already out there. There's one I was just looking at, just looking up the information, called Dashing Through the Snow. But it's a comedy. That's with like Lil Rel and Ludacris. But there's a couple other. There's always Christmas Vacation. There's one called Holiday Road Trip, but that's the usual where, they work together and they're not friends, but they fall in love on a road trip. But like I said, mine isn't a quintessential love story. It's not like that movie with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds where they have to pretend to be engaged and then they actually do fall in love. It's not like that. It's not going to happen. But like I said in the beginning of this, sometimes I get help with AI. Currently, I'm using Gemini, which is from Microsoft. And so I gave it this prompt: write a Christmas movie idea about a couple who used to be together but had a bad breakup, having to ride together to drop one off at their family's Christmas Day. The title they came up with, what Gemini came up with, is called A Christmas Commute, the log line. A divorced couple forced to share a car ride on Christmas Eve must confront their past and the lingering feelings that still exist between them. So kind of still in their mind, except for the lingering feelings. Because like I said, I didn't write a love story. Okay. This is a synopsis, or the parts of it I'll read. Once a passionate couple, Alex and Riley now find themselves on the brink of a forced reunion. A series of unfortunate events. There's always unfortunate events. I had unfortunate events in mine. That has left them with no other choice but to share a car ride on Christmas Eve. As they embark on their journey, old memories resurface and tensions rise. Similar to mine. Their shared past, marked by both love and heartbreak, casts a long shadow over their present. The confined space of the car amplifies their emotions, forcing them to confront the unresolved issues that led to their separation. As they navigate through the traffic jams and holiday cheer, they're forced to reevaluate their feelings and consider the possibility of a second chance. Along the way, they encounter various quirky characters, unexpected detours, adding a touch of humor and heart on the journey. Yeah, there's always that, the weird person you run into on road trips. You always got to have that. So these are the potential storylines and themes that Gemini came up with. Nostalgia and regret, which I would have in mind. Second chances, I won't have that in mind. The power of forgiveness, that was big. Highlight the importance of letting go, resentment, and embracing understanding. Like I said, that's going to be that's the main theme in mind. Letting go of past hurt. You may have someone or new hurt or whatever, and understanding and seeing a person and what they're going through and offering openness to them. The true meaning of Christmas. I forgot to put that in mind. Yeah. So, and then also they added about visual elements, flashback sequences, visually represent the couple's past relationship and the events that led to their breakup. That's something that would be in mind too. The story would be told through a trigger or something that would invoke the past memory. You see their past negative and toxic relationship told through that. Yeah. So that was their Christmas commute. Mine is called, what did I say? Along the Way There or On the Way There? Because it's going to kind of be like that Christmas song. I'll Be Home for Christmas. I like how that song ends. It's very sad, but it's beautiful. When it just goes, if only in my dreams. But yeah, so this is going to be kind of that, like I'll Be Home for Christmas, but the important part is what happens along the way there. So isn't that already a movie? On the Way There? Or I'll come up with something. I don't know. But yeah, that's my Christmas story. My second one, I don't know. Last year I only did one about a witch's coven and the winter solstice. But maybe I'll come up with another one. I don't know. We'll see. This is the last full week before Christmas. Why is Christmas in the middle of the week? It's so weird. But that's what happens. But yeah, thanks for listening. It's Christmas season. It's Christmas creeping. Watch out for the Belkin and all the Christmas horror thing. I want to write a Christmas horror story. That's what I really want to write. Maybe I'll do that next time. But be nice, listen, then listen and be nice to others. Return favors, call people, talk to people, think about other people, do something nice for a random person. Buy a toy for a tot. But yeah, I'll be doing that thing, hopefully keeping up the Christmas spirit. Thanks for listening. I'm still Kirk. This is still Dumb Tesslate, and I will catch you hopefully soon on the next one. Bye-bye.